Hi everyone. Today I just want to talk about the future, really, with our planet and what the effects might have for this planet in the future to come, into 50 to 100 years time. That's what I just want to talk about today. Just future climate, like how is everything going to change for the planet, all the carbon dioxide and all that stuff, which I'm basically going to talk to you about today. God, look at the trees there. All the leaves come off it. When I was here in the summer, a lot of leaves were on it, and now they're gone. Yeah, so today I want to talk about climate change with greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, and how we're polluting the earth, and what's destroying the ozone layer. And I'll tell you what an ozone layer is. And you may find this video a bit boring, but I mean, it's interesting, and also it can affect your children's future, basically. So if you have kids, it can affect their future, and it will affect their kids' future if you're going to have any kids. And it's just a really bad thing. Ice caps are melting in Antarctica, millions of tons are just going. You know what I mean? We just got to try and act now before it's too late, basically. Anyway, almost there to the trees now. You can see that, basically. Yeah, so when it was snowing, all the leaves were on there, now it's just gone. Yeah, so I was going to say, yeah, it's November now, 2011, November. And it's really cold at the moment, and my hands are literally freezing. And that's not to do with global warming, it's just the earth is moving away from the sun more further away. So basically in Africa and Australia, it's boiling hot down there because they're closer to the sun, because the bottom of the world is closer to the sun. But since England's going up north, it's getting colder, and that's what causes winter. Basically, it's not to the climate, but I'm just saying it's winter time now, and it'll be December soon, not very long. But look at the trees, all the leaves have come off it. Yep. When I was younger, I used to love learning about this stuff, and I used to talk about it a lot. I know a lot about being green and what can make the planet heat up much quicker. It's a bit windy, but you can still hear me. So basically, I know when I was about 14 to 15 years old, and since I was getting older, I used to love learning about being green and keeping the planet healthy and the environment nice and all that stuff. Those are all the good things. I'll tell you about the good things as well, but the first thing I want to talk about is the climate shift, the climate change. So basically, what I'm talking about is that our ozone layer, which is up there, well, not actually there, but all the way up there, you must know that. Yeah, so basically what I'm talking to you this video about, I know you may find it boring, but it's interesting, and we need to act now, basically, so it doesn't affect our kids' future. So basically what I'm going to talk about is just that our power, that powers our homes, cars, everything, basically, factories, mostly everything needs power, which is called electricity, you know that. But how do we get the electricity? Well, it's simple, power stations. But what needs power stations is this, right? Coal. And what it does, they put it in big heaters, they heat it up, which makes steam, and then the steam goes through a tube, and the air pressure, so it goes faster, and it turns these big turbines, or has these electrical power generator thingies that spin so quick it produces that electricity power, powers our homes. But then what happens after the carbon dioxide has gone through the turbines to spin that power? It goes out of big chimneys, massive chimneys at power stations, and it goes into the atmosphere. And if it does that, it destroys the ozone layer, which everyone calls the big blanket, but I just call it whatever, ozone layer or big blanket. And what that does, that protects us from the sun's heat, But since so many factories are still burning carbon dioxide, so many greenhouse gases are going up into the atmosphere, it's destroying our ozone layer. It's destroying our ozone layer really badly, and it's doing it right now. It's destroying it right now. So that's why we need to act now and sort it out, which also I'm going to explain to you about as well. So think about this, right? You know, cars, they let off carbon dioxide. That's petrol, which is oil from the earth, which powers our engines. But the problem is it gets released from an exhaust of the car and into the atmosphere. And how many cars do you think are running right now in England a day? Millions. And so many people are paying for petrol to power their cars, to make them go to travel to where they need to be. And all that carbon dioxide that they've wasted is going up to the atmosphere, including power stations, and destroying the ozone layer. Let me tell you this, right? If there was no ozone layer, everyone would be dead on this planet. It's the truth. Seriously, because everything, the whole planet would heat up and just wipe out everything. It'll burn everyone. Everything will just catch fire. It'll get too hot. We'll lose oxygen. Trees will die. Because that's what we need. We need trees to give us oxygen. It's true though. Trees absorb the carbon dioxide and they release it out and make oxygen for us to breathe. And if the ozone layer is destroyed, all those trees are going to burn down, and then where are we going to get oxygen from? That's where it comes. So it comes from trees, nowhere else. It's in the air, but trees are producing it every day. So basically, we breathe on trees. Basically, everyone will die. Also, everything will just burn up. Everything will get destroyed. That's what happened to if there was no ozone layer. But we still got it, and that's the reason. That's the reason why. If you basically know what I'm saying. The sun is beautiful. Yes, wonderful and beautiful. But if there's no ozone layer, the sun will just fry up the whole planet. Because you know how hot the sun is? It's 10,000 degrees. And it burns, I think it's 1.3 billion tons every second. 1, 2, 3. So every second it's burnt. 1.3, I think it's 1.3 billion tons of hydrogen and oxygen, not oxygen, sorry, hydrogen, every second to make the sun keep going up. And if there's no ozone layer, there could be massive heat waves from the sun. It can actually come from the sun to here, because the sun's 250,000 miles from here. 250,000 miles from our planet, and we can see it. But what I'm saying is, heat waves can still come, because when it's summertime, we can feel the heat. If there's no ozone layer, it'll get hotter, and there'll be lots of casualties and stuff like that. So I'm just telling you all about the disasters to it, and I will be telling you about the good things we can do to help save our planet and keep it green. I'm interested in it. If you're not interested in it, don't watch this video. But if you are, keep watching with me. So I want to tell you more about it. I'm just saying, I'm not having a go yet, I'm just saying. Extraordinary view today though, it is nice. It's a nice day today, it's nice and lovely. Blue sky, nice sun. And it's quite cool actually. It's pretty cold, but I'm not saying it's actually freezing. It's not like -20 or something like that. It's about 5 degrees at the moment. 5 degrees I think. I've checked my iPhone. Yeah, I've just checked my iPhone. It's not 5 degrees, it's 8 degrees at the moment. And that's quite chilly, but it's not actually below freezing. Not below freezing, just, you know, it's not that cold basically. It's just quite cool on my hands. I get cold so easily. It's quite chilly, that's why I've got a nice hoodie on and all that. Look at that view. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that view. Just absolutely amazing. Heat waves can come from the sun if there's no ozone layer. That's what it's all about, climate change. It's all to do with the ozone layer, nothing else, just the ozone layer. Don't do nothing about that. It's gonna go, and everything will die on the planet. A lot of animals and creatures will get extinct if we don't act now. I mean, look at the polar bears in the Antarctica. all the polar bears in Antarctica are disappearing. They're all dying because their homes are in snow and ice. But since that ice is melting because of what we produce, it's getting rid of them. And that is the truth. So we need to do that now. We've got like we've got to recycle stuff and all that. Basically that's what we've got to do. We've got to put bottles in the green bin and all that. So I'm just walking back home now to show you a bit about that, because it's getting cold now and it's gonna get dark soon. So I'm going to go back inside and also talk to you more about it. Yeah, so when I get back home I'm going to show you loads of things as well that releases carbon dioxide. Oh yeah, not just cars, planes as well. There's a good thing about it and a bad thing about it. To get to another country, to go on holiday, we need planes. But to drive those planes, we need fuel, petrol. So the good thing is, when you get there, you have a nice holiday, enjoy yourself for a couple of weeks or months. It depends how long you stay there. But it's giving off carbon dioxide to get you to that place. Drives jet engines, and it takes off and takes you to another country. And how much fuel do you think needs to go in a plane every time it takes off? Quite a few tons of petrol. Quite a bit of it. Just got back in the house and my hands are literally freezing. Just absolutely cold. Hello Bufford. It's my dog again, if you can see him. And turn the light for you. There he is. It's my little doggy. Yeah, I just got back in the house. My hands are freezing cold. So basically, what I'm trying to talk about is the planet. Basically, global warming and all. Yeah, global warming basically, and the climate change. So what it is, right? Let me explain. So here's the world, right? And what around it is called the ozone layer, which people call the big blanket, or the ozone layer. What this does, it protects us from the sunlight's heat. Too much of it. I know we get heat coming through it, but if there was no ozone layer, it would be too hot and everything would just disintegrate, basically burn all that stuff. So basically, everything would just be entirely wiped out. So basically, what it is, right? You have a planet, and that is the ozone layer. And since we're letting off so much carbon dioxide from planes, boats, cars, lorries, trains, loads of things really, power stations, all sorts really. There's loads of things what can make where carbon dioxide can come from. And all that stuff is polluting the earth, basically. And we need to act about it, because a lot of animals will die, a lot of forests and trees will get destroyed. Basically, the climate change will, all the weather will change. So basically, there'll be more severe storms, more waves and all that. And let me say this about waves, right? So what I mean by waves is that in Antarctica, the south of our planet, has big, massive tons of ice, which is melting right now, because the ozone layer is breaking up and more heat's coming through the earth and melting our ice. And then what's that going to do? It's going to create more water, isn't it? And then the sea's going to get bigger and bigger. If all the ice caps keep melting, there's going to be more waves, right? Because if when global warming causes bad weather, it could cause storms in seas. And since the climate has caused another problem with weather and lots of water, that weather's going to get the water and make big waves, and there's going to be a massive tsunami if we don't deal with this now. There'll be worldwide disasters and all that. There'll be more tornadoes, more thunderstorms, more snow. Yeah, and most of the sea will be wiping out most of our countries. That's why we've got to act now, because it's to do with the ozone layer breaking up. That's what global warming is. That's what could happen in the future for the climate change. And it can affect our children to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then to the next. And then once you get to the next bit, so if I had kids, and they had kids, and then the other those kids had kids, their kids are going to suffer, including the kids I'm going to, if I have kids next. So basically, right, let me work it out, let me explain to you, right, a family, right, so a mum and a dad and 2 children, they're going to suffer, and their kids are going to suffer, and their kids are going to suffer if we don't sort it out now. I know some of you out there are trying to sort it out, which I agree, I'm doing it as well. I'm not saying all of you are not, like, helping out. I know a lot of you out there who are going to watch this are actually going to help with the planet and all that by putting plastic bottles in recycling bins and all that stuff. They can recycle it and make something else new to it instead of just dumping it into the ground in a big hole and just burying it. Because that's what they do, right? Which is what I'm just going to show you about now. This picture here is a black bin. And what goes in there is waste we don't need. And what that does, that gets buried under the earth. But when that does still get buried, it's still releasing carbon dioxide from the ground. So basically, it's a bit complicated to find out how can we get rid of this waste. And I thought of a suggestion. I was just thinking, why not launch it out of space? That could be a pretty good idea, actually. Like, so get all the rubbish, put it in a big container, and then launch it out of space and just, or send it to the sun. Like send it to the sun, so the sun has more more gas, so it can burn stuff. So if we have waste we don't need, send it to the sun, it will just burn it or something, or just send it out of space and just let it go. Because the problem is, right, if we do that, people say that it could pollute the universe, but I mean, come on. The universe is massive. It'll probably just go up and then get vaporized, basically, disintegrated. Yeah, it will just get disintegrated, basically. And it could go to the sun and burn up, or it could go somewhere else and just get destroyed somewhere else. It's only just waste though, but that could be one of my suggestions or theory. So basically, right now we have these bin containers that have been buried. So what these diggers do, they make a big hole and they bury it, all this stuff, and then so there we go, and they bury it, put all the stuff in, they bury it all out back together how it was. But the problem is, when it's doing that, all the stuff that's buried underneath it, carbon dioxide is still coming out of it and polluting the earth. Also with cars, planes, etc. What I just said. It's quite complicated to do it as well. Because also when fuel goes out, we'll have a greener fuel, which is vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. And we can use that to run our cars instead of using petrol, because petrol's too polluted. It can pollute the earth too much. Do you know what I mean? It could be loads of worldwide disasters. And the good thing is, the green bins we have, where it has a green cap on top, I'll show you that. And here we have the green bin, where we put recyclable stuff in it, like bottles, plastic bottles, paper, cardboard, glass, bags, and all things like that, really. And that, it gets recycled, it gets melted down and recycled into a new bottle or another product. But with the black bins, it gets buried into the earth and it pollutes the earth, and I think it's terrible. I think it's a bad way to get all this waste and just bury it. I think it's a bad thing to do. I think we should just send it out of space and just let it go somewhere else, if you know what I'm saying. And then, so we can use it. I mean, it's being used now. We use it to burn it for like fires or something like that, and other factories burn it to spin turbines, which is a good thing, but it's still polluting carbon. It's still polluting the earth with the carbon dioxide in it and all of the gases and waste and all that stuff. It's just awful. And to be honest, there's not really much we can do really with. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how to get rid of waste. I haven't got a big factory. I can get rid of it in a different way. The only thing we can do now is wait for scientists to figure it out, because I'm not a special expert with the climate, weather and global warming. Scientists and people who can actually sort it out, like big governments and all that, need to like sort it out and get it all finished and done over with, so it doesn't cause a lot of animals to die, because a lot of animals are dying, like polar bears. They've got no food, they're barely surviving, and they've got no place to live, because the place where they live is on the ice and snow, and all that's melted, and now it's turned to water, because our carbon dioxide has made that happen, made the ozone layer bring more sunlight in, which brings more heat in, to melt the capsules. But we don't want to do that. We use carbon dioxide for a reason, because it's the most special type of fuel that can help us power stuff like lights, engines and stuff like that. Basically that's all it is. Basically everything is used from carbon dioxide and petrol to power electricity that does all of our stuff, like to power lights, cars, the engines for petrol, basically loads of things really, and factories and stuff like that. And the internet is run by power. Do you know what I mean? So basically what we need to do is make a difference by just doing what you need to do. Where, like, if you're using the tap and clean your teeth, just turn off the tap and just clean it and then put it back on again, instead of leaving it running. Because if you did that, you'll be able to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool in just a couple of months. If you did that, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying if you turn off your tap while cleaning your teeth and then put it back on, you can fill up an Olympic-sized swimming pool in just a couple of months' time. It's true. I've researched all up. I've learnt all about this stuff, and I've done this stuff when I was younger. And even though we are using wind turbines to help, like, we use the wind to help spin our turbines, and it powers electricity through the generators. But the problem is it's not enough though. We need to make millions of more turbines to get to the level where power stations are at now. Power stations are making millions of volts of electricity, and every day 250,000 volts are going through every power line to houses. So the amount of power lines that are in the UK, right, millions of electricity is being made, about 250,000 volts of electricity are going through power lines every single day, and there's thousands of power lines. Do you know what I mean? What's carrying a lot of electricity. It's a good thing because we power stuff to watch television, go on the internet, your phones, laptops, computer desktops, PCs and stuff like that, and also to power up lights for cars, like to watch shows in theatre with lights and all that stuff they need. Everything is run, basically, most of it is on power. Yeah, most of the things that we need to use, also with technologies, is to run things with power, which is a good thing. But there's a bad part about it, that we use fuel to power stuff up through generators that make smoke go through these pipes that spin the turbine that produces the electricity. The problem is I can't do much about it. It's only these scientists and the big governments who have got to sort this out. And the people as well. What we've got to do is, right, we've got to take our plastic bottles and put them in the recycling bin. That's all it is. And instead of burying it, it won't cause more carbon dioxide to the planet. And it's not a waste as well. We can recycle it and melt it down and make a new plastic bottle out of it. And I hate that these people, like, I've seen a lot of roads and pavements with empty bottles just on the floor. What you people need to do is pick it up and put it in the bin. That's all you've got to do. And if there's no bin about, just carry it with you for now until you find a bin. Don't just think, oh, just chuck it on the floor, because it's a waste to the environment. It makes everything dirty. Do you know what I mean? We've got to keep Britain clean, and the whole world clean, basically, not just Britain, the whole world. And seriously, I've seen paper, tissue, toilet roll over the floor, glass bottles smashed, and plastic bottles, as I said, and cardboard boxes. People just dump them, and you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't just throw it. All like chewing gum wrappers. Like, if you have a chewing gum, don't just throw the wrapper. Put it in the bin, or if not, put it in your pocket until you find a bin. Don't just be lazy saying, oh, I'm just gonna drop it. I'm not being rude or anything, but it's the truth though. If you did that, it'll keep the world clean. It'll keep the environment clean, the land clean, and also it'll help recycle. You can help recycle stuff. So like that paper can be recycled into something different, if you know what I mean. So that's all I'm just saying though. But there's not much I could do about now, basically, about stuff. But I will be making some more videos about the climate and all that, and being green and all that stuff, because I know a lot about it. And I was trying to, and hopefully soon I'll make a video where I can show you me going to a wind farm with wind turbines and how they produce power and how big they are. But we'll see what happens anyway, and that'll be for the near future anyway. So the thing we've got to do is to sort this out and act now, because it's our children that's going to be affected by it, and also a lot of animals will die, and a lot of things will be destroyed, and also global warming will cause worldwide disasters with weather. It will make weather much more worse. And a lot of things will just be die. A lot of things will get extinct, like polar bears. They're getting extinct really quickly, and we've got to act now so they don't get extinct. And also we've got we've got to like keep the planet green, and we've just got to like recycle basically. Just keep recycling, put plastic bins in bottles, save water, turn off the lights in the house a lot, so to save energy and electricity. That will help save the planet as well. And just keep on doing it. That's all we can try. The only thing we can do is our best. And also, if we, I know you probably agree with me that if we all do this, because if we did, it would be brilliant. But people who don't think they can't be bothered about it, just be bothered, just do it, because we've got to act now, and we've got to start all power stations and run on greener power, so you get electricity to power our stuff, and we've got to act now before it's too late. So there we have it, people. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. So yeah, if you're out there right now making the planet green and recycling and just keeping everything all in balance and all that, by turning off the taps and all that stuff and turning out the lights in your house and all that, it'll make the planet better for our children in the future and for everyone else. So leave a comment below telling me what you think about global warming and the climate change, what you like or what you don't like about it. And thank you for watching this video on HJ's Documentaries. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.